Okay, so let me tell you about one of the wildest tales in all of mythology. This is the story of Tieguai, one of the legendary 8 immortals. And this isn't just some old story, oh no. This is about what happens when you get the worst career change in history and how you deal with it with a god-tier mindset.
And I mean not literally. We're talking about a transformation so insane, it forces you to rethink everything you thought you knew about success, about appearances, and about what it really means to level up. It's shocking, for sure, but it's also unbelievably inspiring. This right here, this tells you the whole story in a nutshell. On one side, you've got Li Xuan, supermodel looks, a genius IQ, a total spiritual prodigy. And on the other side, Li Tieguai, a man with a crippled leg, looking like he's homeless, who also just so happens to be a legendary immortal. So the big question is, how in the world do you get from point A to point B? Well, let's get into it.
First things first, we gotta meet our hero in his original form. See, before he was Li Tieguai, his name was Li Xuan, and for all intents and purposes, the guy was perfect.
So get this, Li Xuan wasn't just some good-looking dude. He was a certified genius who had already given up on fame and fortune to go live in a cave and study the Tao. I'm talking about a guy so handsome, the old texts say spirits would literally pause just to check him out. But his only goal, spiritual cultivation with the master of masters, the great sage Lao Tzu. He had it all.
So life is going pretty great for him, right? He's on the fast track to enlightenment. But then, an invitation arrives. A very, very special invitation that's about to kick off a complete and utter disaster.
The great sage Lao Tzu summons him for a meeting. But you know, this isn't a physical journey. It's something called Shen Yo, which basically means soul travel. Think of it like a divine Zoom call for master cultivators. Your soul travels to the meeting in the heavens, but your physical body, your hardware, has to stay put on Earth. And well, that's where the problem starts.
Before his soul zips off, Li Xuan turns to his apprentice, Yang Zi, and gives him one very specific instruction. He says, guard my body. If, and this is the important part, if I'm not back after 7 days, then and only then can you cremate it. The key here is the timeline. 7 days. Not 6, not 6.5, 7.
All right, so now let's flip the script and look at things from the apprentice's point of view. Because poor Yang Zi is about to find himself in an impossible situation. And this is a classic case of how good intentions can lead to just total catastrophe.
For 5 whole days, Yang Zi is the perfect student. He's guarding the body, keeping it safe, doing everything right. He is so close. But on the evening of the 6th day, a messenger rushes in with horrible news. Yang Zi's mother is dying, and she's asking for him.
Now just stop and think about that for a second. Put yourself in his shoes. Your master's orders are to wait 1 more day, but your mom is on her deathbed. What do? It's a completely gut-wrenching, no-win situation.
So Yang Zi panics. He starts trying to rationalize it. You know, he's thinking, my master has been gone for 6 days. He must have already succeeded. He must be a god by now. He won't need this old body anymore. And with that terrible, tragic leap of logic, he cremates his master's perfect body, just 1 day too soon.
Which brings us to a moment of pure, unadulterated horror. Li Xuan's soul wraps up his meeting with Lao Tzu. He's ready to come home, complete his final transformation, but he's about to experience the spiritual version of a fatal system error.
I mean, can you even imagine the shock? His soul flies back to the cave, all ready to log back into his body, and all he finds is a pile of warm ashes. His apprentice didn't just mess up, he basically kicked him off the server and deleted his account.
Now, a soul without a body is in big trouble. It'll just dissipate into nothing. Li Xuan has only one option left, a really desperate ancient technique called Jie Shi Huan Hun. It literally means borrowing a corpse to return the soul. He has maybe seconds to find a new vessel, or it's game over.
So the most frantic search in mythological history begins. Li Xuan's soul is fading fast, zipping around, looking for any recently deceased body he can find to just jump into.
And what does he find? The literal polar opposite of his former self. There, in the forest, is the body of a homeless beggar who just died. A man with a crippled leg, a tangled beard, just a complete wreck. For a guy who used to be the pinnacle of perfection, this is a nightmare. But his soul is about to wink out of existence. He has no choice. He takes the plunge. So Li Xuan wakes up in this broken new body, and he's about to fall into total despair when his master, Laozi, appears. And what Laozi says next, this is the entire point of the legend. He doesn't say, "Oh, poor you." He says, "True cultivation is about the mind, not the body." He tells him that accepting this tragedy, this new body, that is the final test to becoming a true immortal.
And with that lesson, Laozi hooks him up with a sort of divine welcome package. He takes the stick Li Xuan is leaning on and turns it into a magical iron crutch. He gives him a golden gourd filled with medicine that can cure anything, and he gives him a new name, Li Tieguai, which means Li of the Iron Crutch. He lost the perfect body, but he found his real identity.
So what do you do when you're a brand new god who just went through all of that? Well, this is where the story pivots from a personal tragedy into a powerful lesson for all of us.
Lai Tieguai's first act as an immortal is just incredible. He finds Yang Zi, the guy who ruined his life. But instead of getting revenge, he finds him weeping because his mother has just died. So what does Lai Tieguai do? He takes a pill from his new gourd and brings the woman back to life. And then he forgives him, saying, "If you hadn't burned my body, I might have been trapped by my own vanity forever. You actually helped me." Now that is enlightenment.
And it's because of acts like that he becomes this beloved god of medicine and healing. People pray to him for health, sure, but they also pray to him for the strength to overcome massive setbacks. He's this amazing symbol that your circumstances do not have to define you.
You know, for a story that's thousands of years old, it feels like it was written for today. We live in an age of so much anxiety about appearances, and Li Tieguai's story is the perfect antidote. He had to literally lose his perfect looks to find his true power. It reminds us that your mindset is everything. And in the end, people don't remember him for his crippled leg. They remember him for his power to heal. It's what you do that matters.
Li Tieguai went on to lead the 8 immortals, and he's often seen as the wisest of the bunch. His journey is the ultimate proof of this one simple idea. Physical appearance is temporary, but the strength of your spirit, that's forever.
And that really just leaves us with one final thing to think about. Li Tieguai had to lose his perfect physical body to find real freedom. So the question for us is, what perfect body, whether it's a job, a reputation, an idea of who we're supposed to be, is holding our soul back from what it could truly become?